Good, oh my god, good morning. It is Monday the 7th of February and I thought I would film today because my sister and I are going to go see Dear Evan Hansen in the West End. So I'm wearing my, I don't know if you can see, my Dear Evan Hansen t-shirt today, but it's going to be a really fun day. I'm so excited. This is one of my favourite productions that I've ever seen, and I always talk about it. I'm always listening to the soundtrack, so my sister really wanted to go see it just to kind of see what I've been talking about all this time. This will be my third time seeing it. I'm so excited. But yeah, I'll take you along with me today. I have a bunch of stuff that I need to do at work before we head out for the evening. But yeah, today's gonna be a fun day. I'm excited. Okay, I'm out on my walk. I always try to get some movement in before I start work. Otherwise, if I don't do it in the morning, I just end up sitting on my bum for hours and hours and hours, which isn't very good. So try to get some movement in. Usually I would go to the gym, but I'm in a bit of a funk with the gym at the moment. So we're taking a break from training. I'm just trying to go on walks. If you know me, then you know I love a walk. But yeah, so just on my morning walk, getting some fresh air, listening to an audiobook, and then I'll head back and start work for the day. I work from home, irrespective of the pandemic. I work from home. I am now very, very excited. I was excited earlier, but almost like prematurely excited because we hadn't actually confirmed our tickets to Dear Evan Hansen. So I get asked a lot by like friends, family, and then just people on Instagram how it is that I can afford essentially to go to the theatre so much to see all these shows, because let's face it, it's, you know, the theatre can be quite expensive. And I use an app called Today Ticks, and they're really, really incredible. And you can get, there are certain shows basically that allow you to get seats like on the day of the show, and you pay between 20 and 30 pounds. Like it depends on the production. So I think for Dear Evan Hansen it's 30 pounds, and Juliet is 25. So it just depends on the production, but between 20 and 30 pounds, and you get some of the best seats in the theatre, which is incredible. So we are today sitting in the stalls, which I actually haven't done before. So both times when I went to see Dear Evan Hansen, I sat in the first circle. I think it's the grand circle, maybe upper circle, the first circle, and it was incredible because I just got to see the whole stage. But this time we are sitting, we've got such good seats. We're sitting like in the center, and I think we're 4 or 5 rows away from the front. So I'm really, really excited. I'm excited to be quite close to the stage as well, so that I can see things that you wouldn't see if you're further away. So, you know, tears, like close facial expressions. But yeah, so tickets are confirmed. I'm super excited. Today Ticks is like the best thing in my life, just because it allows me to go to the theatre very, very often and not spend, you know, tons and tons and tons of money. Obviously not all the shows in the West End do it, but there are a fair few who do. So that's amazing. And I think I'm just so lucky that I live in London and have access to that and can plan to go to a show quite last minute. But yeah, if you have not downloaded Today Ticks, I highly recommend. Okay, Google, play Dear Evan Hansen. It's gonna work.
Sure. Here's a Spotify playlist called Dear Evan Hansen West End.
That isn't a West End recording.
Have you been writing?
Are you excited?
Do you want a tattoo? Do you want to get a tattoo?
No.
No? I thought you wanted one.
Nope. I'm good. And this is the theatre. Ta-da! Noel Coward Theatre. Excited? Cinderella fizz. So cute. Charlie and the hot chocolate, my fair latte. And Phantom of the Mocha. No. That was psycho. That was really creepy. No. What are you drinking?
Mojito.
A mojito. It's all the foam is left, and I don't really like foam, but this. Okay, so she got Jamaican patties. Now we are heading to see. What do we see?
Dear Evan.
I mean, I think everyone knows what we're seeing. Look how beautiful the theatre is. Excited?
Yeah.
We're in line. Waiting to go in.
Anyone for the stalls or grand circle?
Careful you don't fall. My first time in the stalls and Gal's first time at Dear Evan Hansen. Gal's obsessed with these sweets at the theatre and they have them here. So she's very happy. Are you excited? And we've got really good seats as well. Act 1 is over. There were lots of tears. You didn't cry though, did you? No. Yeah, I bawled like a baby. I had to take off my mask because I was like...
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's so good. Did you love it? What were your thoughts?
I thought it was very, very moving. Very unique.
What do we think of the cast?
Fabulous.
Sam Tutty.
Fab. What got me was the lip quiver. Every 2 seconds he was like...
The lip quiver.
Yeah, lip quiver.
I was sobbing. I had to take off my mask naughtily.
Lip quivers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I think so. Is that better? I feel like it's not straight. Okay. Cool. It is the next morning. It is Tuesday, Tuesday the 8th, and I have been listening to, if you can see, the Dear Evan Hansen soundtrack all morning. I'm also wearing my t-shirt again. It says "You will be found." Last night was absolutely incredible. I was so happy that Gal enjoyed it as well. I knew she would, but I was like, I felt really anxious going in. I kept saying to her, like, I'm really nervous. I don't know why I was so nervous. I think because the show is so special to me. I just wanted her to like appreciate it as much as I appreciated it. But yeah, it was such an incredible show, and it's 100% right what actors say. Like, every show is different. This is the 3rd time that I've been, and there were certain things that the cast did, like whether it was, oh, you know, they didn't touch that person last time, or they didn't say it as angrily last time, or they didn't say it in that way, or just like tiny little differences that I noticed. And it was so good being in the stalls as well. We were actually a lot closer than I thought we were, and that was really exciting because it meant that I could see tears and like just, I don't know, I could see things a little bit better than when I was sitting in the circle, which is where I sat the previous 2 times. This show is something really, 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 really special. I think it's exactly what the world needs, or has needed over the last few years and still needs. And I think the reason I love it so much, and the reason I get really emotional when I go, is because every person, in my opinion, every person has felt that way. Every person has felt alone at some point in their lives and has gone through bumps, and we will go through more bumps, but although the show deals with really heavy subject matter, so if you don't know what the show is about, I'm not going to ruin anything, but there's a lot of, you know, discussions around mental health and feeling lonely, and just, you know, not feeling like you have someone there. So the show deals with really heavy subject matter, and despite all of that, you feel really like positive going out of the show. So I know for me as well, like, this is definitely something I've struggled with over the last few years. You know, with the rise of social media, we're expected to be connected to our devices most of the time, and that can in turn result in you feeling not connected to people and feeling really, really lonely. And that's something that, you know, really related to me, and I think is one of the reasons why I just love the show so much. The cast is so talented. Like, every time I go, I'm just in awe of how much talent there is on that stage, and the music is so beautiful. It's so current and so relevant to the world that we live in today. I've been listening to the soundtrack non-stop since the first time I saw the show, which was end of November, I think, of last year only. Sam Tutty, who leads the show, he plays Evan Hansen, his talent is just ridiculous. Like, he is so perfect for this role. He is so talented. He brings a really physical elements to the character, and I've seen interviews that Sam Tutty has done, and he's really, really confident, really charismatic guy, and then on stage he has all these tics and, you know, like nervous blinking and like you know, constant like he shakes, and he has these twitches and stuff, and he's just, I have no words to describe the talent that is Sam Tutty. He is remarkable. And the rest of the cast are so talented. Jack Loxton, who plays Jared Kleinman, is hilarious. One of my favourite lines from the show is they come back to school after the summer holidays, and Jared and Evan are talking about, you know, how was your summer, blah blah blah, and Evan tells Jared that he broke his arm falling out of a tree. And Jared's response is like, what are you? And you fell out of a tree. What are you? An acorn? And I don't know why, like, I don't know if it's just me and I think that line is hilarious, but like I laugh so much during that line. So yeah, he's incredible. Iona Fraser, who plays Alana, is so good. She's such a perfect Alana, and her voice is just beautiful. My only kind of request, not even a request, I'm just like, I don't know why this hasn't been done, is I feel like Alana deserves a song. Like, she doesn't have her own, she has like, you know, various lines that she sings on her own, and you get a sense of how powerful and beautiful her voice is, but she doesn't have a song on her own, and I feel like she should. I'm just gonna put it out there. Everyone else is incredible. I'm not gonna get into like the specifics. It's just such a beautiful show. I was a mess right before Act 1 finishes, so that's when they sing You Will Be Found, and I lost it when Evan kind of is on the floor. That's when I started crying. I had to sneakily like remove my mask so I could breathe properly, because it was hardcore, like ugly crying. I was like like, yeah, so I had to take my mask off a little so that I could let it out. Everyone around me was really emotional as well, which doesn't really help in terms of you not getting more emotional. And then there's a part where Zoe and Connor's dad breaks down, and that, like, the actor that plays him, Rupert, when he falls to the ground, I was like, oh my god, and I lost it again. I was like kind of, you know, getting myself together, and then when Gary Murphy falls, I was like, no, and I just, you know, continued bawling, and then the curtain goes down. Well, the curtain doesn't go down, but the actors go off stage, and I was like, oh, okay, I've got the intermission to, you know, to gather myself. And I knew, because I've seen the show before, I knew that in the second act I'd be a mess, like a hot mess. During Good For You, I was starting to get really like emotional again. I feel like that's something that a lot of people have felt that way. I don't want to give too much away, I don't want to ruin it, but go watch the show if you are able to, and listen to the soundtrack. And Good For You is such a beautiful song, and the staging of the actual production. So when Evan is in the middle and his mum is there, and Alana's there, and Jared is there, and there's a line that he sings, and it's stop it, just let me out. I think that's the line. And then he like moves away from them. Oh, it's such beautiful, just the staging. I think the staging of this show is so impressive. Like, it's a very, in terms of the sets, they're very techy. If you've seen the show, you'll know what I'm referring to. They're very techy, but they're quite minimalistic. Like, there isn't a lot of stuff on stage, but the staging and the way that they stage these musical numbers is just so impressive, and it does so much for what you feel when you're in the audience and when you're watching it. And then Words Fail. Oh my goodness, I did not react as emotionally the first 2 times I saw this, but there was something about Sam Tutty's performance this time, not to say anything about, not to take away from how phenomenal the performances that I saw previously were, but there was something about this day, it was so much more emotional. When him and his mum during Good For You have this kind of like altercation and they shout at each other, they didn't shout like that before. I could sense the like frustration and the anger, and I was like, oh my god. And then during Words Fail, I was a mess. I could not stop crying. It was so beautiful. Sam as Evan is just a gift. He is a gift as Dear Evan Hansen, as Evan Hansen. He is a gift to the public. That musical number is just so special. And there's a part where he comes to the left of the stage, no, right of the stage. He gets to one of the corners of the stage and there's a spotlight on him, and he just he sings, but you know, there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of, you know, quivering, and Sam brings this physicality to the role that is truly beautiful. And during those few lines that he sings there, you could hear a pin drop in the audience, apart from like sniffles and like myself, who was trying to not be a loud crier. The audience was just completely and utterly, you know, I don't even know the word, like we were just all there, you know. There was nothing else except us and like Sam Tutty as Evan Hansen, and it was one of the most beautiful moments. And I think this is why I love the theatre so much, because I was a hot mess, but everyone else was a hot mess. And you know, there are so many different people that come to see these shows, but in those moments where you're just there and it's just you and the rest of the audience and these phenomenal actors, there's a sense of connection that I can't really quite describe. And that's one of the things that I love so much about the theatre and this production specifically, that there's a lot of emotion that you go through as an audience member witnessing this show, but you leave feeling like you're part of something and like you're connected to people that you've never known and probably will never speak to ever again. And I think that's what's so beautiful. So it was a really special show. I was so ecstatic that I got to take my sister and share that experience with her. I've been talking about this show since I first saw it end of last year, non-stop. Like, I wake up and I'm singing the songs, I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking, singing the songs, just talking about it non-stop. And I finally got to share that with my sister, and she absolutely loved it as well, so I was so happy. And then during the curtain call, we sort of deduced that Sam Tutty's mum was in the audience, and I think maybe that's why it was such an emotional, like more emotional than normal show, because he did a very cute like, hi mum, you know, at the bows, which was adorable. And there was a lot of like, at the end of every song that Sam sang, which essentially is every single song, there was a lot of like, woo, coming from like a certain side. It was like one row in front of us to the left. We were in the center, and it was one row in front of us to the left. There was a lot of like, woo, coming from that side, and that's where he kind of looked and was like, hi mum. So I'm assuming his mum was there, which was so cute. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dear Evan Hansen, I really recommend it. I have seen many productions, many musicals, and Dear Evan Hansen is my #1, and I think I can confidently say that. There are so many out there, but this show it just speaks to me, and it makes me feel all sorts of things. It makes me feel like hopeful, that I feel like if everyone saw this show, our world would be a more understanding place. Our society would just be better. And yeah, I don't know, I think those are my thoughts. But yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really excited to be making this sort of stuff. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed it until I kind of took my little camera and was like recording things throughout the day yesterday. Yeah, I don't know, I really enjoy it, so I hope you did as well. And if you did, it would mean the world if you could like this video, so that I know that people have seen this and people have enjoyed it, and share with anyone that you think would enjoy this sort of video. And if you would like to subscribe, I would be ever so grateful. I have another video that will be coming at the end of this week, so in a few days from when this video goes up, because I'm seeing a production in a few days, and I'm super excited to see. I have not seen this production before. It is quite new, and I'm a little bit anxious. Not anxious, I'm nervous to see it, because I'm like connected to this story in some ways. I think that was a really poor way to explain that, but hopefully that will make sense in the coming days when I release that video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.